The shadow, the evidence that left the victim in the mist. I'm the motive that drives the crime. Fear the kids, and every time when truth and lies are hard to define. I am the trace in the bloodstained ground. The weapon found, the eerie sound of justice waiting to be crowned. The mystery has just begun. The trail is never done, and I'm a state of cold case till the truth is won.
If I told you that a fun vacation with friends could take the darkest turn imaginable, would you believe it? That's exactly what happened to Shanquella Robinson. On October 29, 2022, Shanquella and a group of friends traveled to Cabo San Lucas, Mexico. She was ready to relax, unwind, and enjoy the sun, but little did she know this trip would end in tragedy. By the end of the night, she was gone. The circumstances were murky at best. The initial explanation provided to her family was that she died from alcohol poisoning, but as more details began to surface, the truth appeared far more sinister. Therefore, questions arose. What really happened that night in Cabo? And why did her friends give conflicting accounts of the events leading up to her passing? As the investigation unfolded, a chilling video emerged that sent shockwaves across the internet. The footage showed Shanquella being attacked by one of her travel companions while others stood by, not intervening. This single piece of evidence flipped the entire narrative on its head.
This broken-hearted family, especially this mother of Shanquella Robinson.
No longer was this simply a case of alcohol poisoning, but rather something far darker.
What we see is very clear. She was beaten to death.
That's right.
And if she wasn't beaten to death, somebody needs to tell us exactly what happened.
Shanquella was seen being violently struck, and although there were other people in the room, no one did a thing to help her. Therefore, people began to ask, why was no one stepping in? What kind of friends would allow this to happen, let alone record it? This video made the public and Shanquella's family demand answers. The FBI soon got involved, but the investigation was complicated. Mexican authorities had already issued an arrest warrant for one of Shanquella's friends, the one who allegedly carried out the assault. But with the crime taking place in Mexico and the suspects back in the US, the legal process became tangled in international red tape. The FBI launched their own investigation, but in April 2023, US authorities announced they would not pursue criminal charges, citing insufficient evidence.
State Department, the Department of Justice, the ball is in your court. Do what you have to do.
Therefore, the case stalled, and Shanquella's family was left devastated.
Justice for Shanquella Robinson.
How could justice be served when two countries were involved, but neither seemed able to act? Mexican authorities, however, were not backing down. They continued to push for the extradition of the prime suspect. An Interpol red alert was issued, meaning that if the individual left the US, they could be arrested in any participating country. Meanwhile, Shanquella's family did everything they could to keep her memory alive and seek justice. Her case became a rallying cry for activists who pointed out the glaring issues within the international legal system. How could someone die under such suspicious circumstances, but yet no one be held accountable? What does this say about the larger issue of violence against women, particularly women of color, and how their cases are often neglected or mishandled? If we take a closer look at the autopsy report, it reveals something even more unsettling. The medical examiner in Mexico determined that Shanquella's death was caused by a spinal cord injury and a broken neck. This directly contradicted the story that she had simply consumed too much alcohol. Furthermore, the timeline of events raised more questions than answers. Shanquella had been at a hotel 3 miles inside the secure area of the Bagram Air Base. How was it possible that her friends had not noticed anything unusual? Why did they initially report it as an alcohol-related incident when the injuries clearly told a different story? These contradictions led many to suspect foul play, but without sufficient evidence, it seemed that justice would remain elusive. Shanquella's family has since taken legal action against her travel companions, accusing them of hindering the investigation and failing to disclose key information. The lawsuit aims to hold these individuals accountable for their actions, or in this case, their inactions. But as of today, no one has been officially charged. Therefore, the question lingers: will justice ever be served? And if not, what does that mean for the future of cases like Shanquella's, where jurisdictional issues and incomplete investigations stand in the way? The emotional toll on Shanquella's family cannot be understated. They have been vocal, persistent, and unwavering in their pursuit of justice. But as time goes on, the path to closure seems more distant. With no arrests, no criminal charges, and an investigation that has hit roadblock after roadblock, Her family is left wondering, will the truth ever fully come to light? They have demanded transparency from both US and Mexican authorities, but the bureaucratic red tape has made the process agonizingly slow. Therefore, they continue to fight, refusing to let Shanquella's story fade away into obscurity. As we pass the 1-year mark since Shanquella's death, the case remains open but stagnant. Her family and supporters have made it clear that they will not give up, but they need the public's help. Will you remember Shanquella? Will you join the call for justice? Or will her case be another example of a life lost with no one held accountable? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. How should international investigations like this be handled? What do you think is the next step to bring those responsible to justice? Leave your answers and continue the conversation, because forgetting Shanquella is not an option.